Hi, so this is my 8th reflection. Before I start this reflection, I do just want to make a little comment about my previous reflections and messing them up a little bit, just with not messing the actual reflections up, but just the timing. So I did put little stars in just saying this is the right week. I just got a little bit confused with which week we were actually on and then reading it wrong off the paper because I'm reading questions, so it says week 1. I've now scribbled it out, but it said week 1, so I kept saying like what happened in week 1 even though it was like week 6 or something like that. So I just apologise for that, but I will fix it now. I have sorted myself out and organised that a little bit better, so yeah, I'm sorry about that, and I hope it was clear. So in this week, this was the week before production. I wanted to start production on Thursday the 25th, I believe it is. So this week was, obviously I finished pre-production completely, really like on track with that, and like I said last week a little bit, I finished in advance a little bit, but it's not a problem. It sort of means that I can just really prepare myself and take extra measures for actual production stage. So this week was all about collecting my equipment, organising props, buying props, organising my budget, making sure my actors were ready, a lot of organisation. So what I thought might happen in week 8, I thought that this week was going to be fairly easy, but I had some concerns in relation to budget, and obviously keeping on my budget. I knew that was going to be really difficult. My money management isn't the best, and I feel like because I want this to be really good, I'm splashing the cash a bit, and this is cash that I don't really have, so yeah, it took a lot of thinking beforehand, I think, well, more after. I was like, should I have spent this much money? But I'll cover that in a minute. So what are the challenges that I would face this week? Probably getting all the props. I wish that I got some of them a little bit earlier, and obviously a huge challenge was going to be financially, and also I was having a little bit of a think this week about my product, and there's a line in my song which says, "Take this knife and meet me across the river." Now, I've incorporated something like that, you know what I mean, a knife in a lot of my scenes and a lot of shots. Now, I sat down and I looked at my storyboard again, because I like to do a storyboard, or same with art. When you make a piece of art, you walk away and you leave it for a little bit, and then you come back to it and you have a different eye and you see it differently. And I came back to it and I was very glad I left it for a bit, because I was like, there is a lot of knives in this, and in modern day, knife crime is huge. I literally watched a documentary about it today, and it is massive. So I feel like putting a knife in a music video might be a little bit, if this was a big music video and really in the public eye, then that wouldn't be accepted, and I feel like there would be an uproar. So I need to look over again at my legal and ethical considerations. Well, I did have another look at them, and I did address it briefly, but not enough in that. So my plan is to actually take the knife out completely, and I feel like there's other ways to represent it, and I don't have to represent every single line in the song. I don't have to I can leave out little bits because it doesn't have to be necessary. This is my interpretation of the song, and I just feel like having a knife in it isn't going to make it any better, or going to increase the audience's understanding. I don't feel like it is so necessary. But I'm glad I noticed that now and not later, like not after I've actually made the product. So yeah. So how did I prepare for week 8? by finishing pre-production, I prepared for week 8 really, and planning exactly what props I needed, and making sure that, well, actually beforehand, the week before, when I was doing pre-production, I looked up some of the props and looked up how much they would cost. For example, I've had to buy a fire pit. I mean, a fire pit would be great anyway. I think you can have barbecues on it, so I'm sure it'd be fine. But that was £50. I wanted a nice one anyway because my mum would enjoy it. But obviously my budget was £35 for the whole production. That's sort of what I mean when I say it didn't go too well, but I was taking it out of my own pocket. If this was so say this happened at university, it wouldn't happen at university, because I think you get given a budget and you can't go over, but I wouldn't go over anyway because it's not my money, this is my money, so I've earned it, so I'm quite happy to spend that money. I know you don't have to spend a lot of money to make a product good. The product could still tumble, doesn't matter how much money I put into it, the product could still fail, I'm very aware of that. But I just felt like that's what I wanted to do, that's all. What was happening as I was making decisions, obviously the knife crime decision, or not knife crime, but like having the knife in there, and with the uprise in knife crime recently, that was a big decision I had to make. I feel like that's a big change in my product because I didn't realise how much I had incorporated knives in my actual product, but I really don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't think it's going to affect my video. At least I hope not, yeah. Did it work out as expected? Probably not, because I spent so much money, but that's not the end of the world. I expected to stay under budget and at the beginning I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be really good with money, I'm gonna make sure that I stick to my budget, and I manage my money really well. That went out the window so quickly. As soon as I saw that fire pit, I was like, well, whatever. It was really bad, but again, I don't regret that at all. What was I learning? I probably learned that it's good to manage your money before you go out and buy something. Like, it's good to have a certain amount you're going to spend on each prop or product. Because of course I'm way over my budget. I won't say how much exactly I've spent, but yeah. I think next time at university I will look online as well, and actually go to shops and see exactly how much the props and products are before I put them into my product, if that makes sense. What are my insights on last week? Now, really successful week. I wouldn't say I did that much because I finished pre-production, so there's not much to do really, apart from just getting fully organised. And I mean, when I say there's not much to do, I did do quite a lot because me and my mum had to go out and find my props, and that did take quite a while. There were quite a few things that we couldn't find. Surprisingly, ropes are really difficult to find. Didn't know that, but and obviously ordered a couple of things offline, so that wasn't really a problem. But yeah, in that sense, it's been quite a busy week, but I haven't done anything necessarily like theory based because I finished everything. What went well and why? I feel like because I came back to my storyboard, I did make a few amendments as well to my story. I think that went well. The fact that I did come back to it and that I left it for a few days. I'm very glad I did that because it just gave me a different insight on my product, so yeah. And is there anything I could do differently next week? Obviously next week is production, so there's not really anything I would do differently because it's 2 very different weeks. I do have some concerns about production though. The weather forecast is telling me it's going to rain on Thursday. That is a huge issue, and an issue I realise I don't think I actually put into my contingency plan. For some stupid reason I didn't think of it, and that's like the first thing you're supposed to think of. But I've decided that if it does rain, I'm going to have to reschedule, which is really frustrating because I've planned everything around getting it done this date. But it's not the end of the world. Because I finished pre-production so early, I have plenty of time to get it done. There isn't a rush, and this is why you should always be on time and manage your time well, because when something goes wrong, like for example the weather, it's England, then I still have time to do it. But obviously it does add a little bit more stress on, because I didn't want to have to rush post-production and editing, and I didn't want to have to rush production either. But I'm planning to do it all in one day, because the availability of my actors is so small that yeah, it just means they don't have a lot of time. So the days that they can do are very few. That's a little bit of a worry, but I have spoken to them about it, and the Tuesday after, which isn't that long after, they can both do. So I'm hoping that will sort of solve the problem. So yeah. What are the long-term implications? Obviously the money. That's a big lesson. That's a big lesson, yeah. Long-term implications, university, money management, and actually just life. I have noticed, I already knew that I was quite bad at managing money, but this just sort of highlighted it for me, because I just brought that fire pit without thinking. I was like, that'll do. Got to the counter, £50, and I'm like, oh wow. So I need to be more careful with money for sure, considering I don't have much of it. I'm a student, so yeah. At university, so a long-term implication is I've learnt a big lesson about money. So yeah. So I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything. Yeah, I've covered everything. So that is my week 8 reflection, and I will tune in next week. Thank you.